Well, looks like it's time for another walk. Dog's telling me so. Right, Coda? Where are we going? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Got some of the tractor implements out here I'll talk about at some point. But another day. So, different day. Different weather. Different trail. Bit warmer today. We're also going to take a trail sort of through a meadow area that's a little bit different than the red pine forest that we saw last time. I think I might have mentioned a little bit about something I call the hillbilly half mile, and we'll get a chance to see what that's about today. Oh, looks like we got some rabbit droppings kicking around here. Lots of them, actually. See them all over the place. Oh, see the tracks. You can actually see here, if you have a look at the bottom of this white pine tree, you can see how a lot of the pine needles are gone on the lower branches. So the rabbits obviously have been around here having a bite to eat. But Coda will be interested in checking it out. And you can see where they've been jumping over here. You can always tell by the gap between the prints. They're quite big, so it must be a rabbit. A lot of footprints still on this trail. We haven't had snow in a while. But I'm sure that'll change quickly and I'll be complaining at one point or another. But anyways, we'll take this trail. It takes us into a bit of a meadow and kind of a neat area here. Still very sandy soil like the red pine forest, but full of ferns actually. So when it clears just up here, you'll see what I'm talking about. This area, I haven't quite figured out why, but this transition from sort of a high area up on the right, where there's lots of rock, there's some oak and beech trees and that sort of thing, down to a lower lying area here in the middle, full of some conifers and things like that. And then the meadow, which is just up here, it tends to hold a lot of grouse. So not quite sure why. They're probably up in the hardwoods there, but I don't know why they like this transition area. If anyone knows, feel free to put it in the comments. Coda's usually quite interested in things around here. It's probably the rabbits this time, but it's really hard to say. The grouse, I noticed they've been out quite a bit too. When I do see it, I'll show you how I can tell grouse are around. Oftentimes you'll see on the deciduous trees, you'll see the buds. So the bud is the part right here. It's this one. You can see the little puffed up part on the end, the green part. You'll see where grouse actually are nibbling off the buds on some of these trees. They like some trees more than others, but when I do see one, I'll point it out. Anyways, we're now in what I call the meadow, and the big pile in the middle there is brush, but other than that, this is all ferns in the nice weather. The hillbilly half mile, you're looking at it. So basically, I brought the tractor out here, groomed an area, and I got a little go-kart. I like to do some laps out here. So probably not even a half mile, probably more like a quarter mile, or not even that, probably an eighth mile, but loops around pretty good, and with the tractor I can keep it pretty smooth and come out and do something for fun. Anyways, come on, Coda, let's go. Not sure what that was. You guys could hear that or not. Something just came out of the tree. Might have just been a branch, might have been a critter up there. But you can see around here, we tend to get a lot of spruce trees, they tend to die and they keep standing and then they break off. So I got a lot of these kicking around. You see, this isn't a spruce, but this looks like an old white pine tree here that's dead, but I leave them standing. They actually provide some habitat for critters, so I don't cut down every one I see. I don't want it to be a park out here, but a lot of them fall on their own. You can see the poplars coming in here. Poplars in the back there. They like to, once these old trees keel over and die, the poplars like to jump in, take advantage of the sunlight. Got some right here too. They're not really good for much. They don't provide good lumber or anything. Usually people just burn them as brush, but I don't care what people say. I cut them up and I dry them out and I throw them in the wood stove. And heat is heat, in my opinion. Free heat, even better. So there's the hillbilly half mile. Good time out here. Get that brush pile burned off at some point. We have burning bylaws just like most places in Ontario, and I try not to get the fire going so big you can see it from the moon, so I try to abide by those bylaws. But what happened this year, by the time the bylaw, the burning season kicked in, the brush burning season kicked in, it snowed immediately and basically covered everything that I wanted to burn. So as you can see, another day, another hunt for Coda. So he's out and about. It's hard to believe how that dog stays motivated day in and day out, even when he doesn't see anything for so long. But he does. But hopefully this area at some point or another, I know a lot of these pine trees are going to grow up and be quite big, but hopefully at some point some of the younger deciduous trees can start popping up. I talk about them a lot. It's because I like them for wildlife, and I also like them because down the road they can provide even better firewood than, you know, just some of the conifers that die and fall down that I cut up. Well, we stumbled upon this beautiful thing. This is actually a truck camper, and the truck I drive, actually, it's a Tacoma, Toyota. Good truck. The only challenge is it doesn't really have good aftermarket for truck campers. So what I've got here is I've got a camper that I built, and I built it so it's a bit lighter than what you might expect a truck camper to be. So this thing's been out here for a little while, and since it's been out here, we've got a few additions to it, including that sign. Bit of a joke going on, but this is it. I built this, so it's built so it fits the back of the truck perfectly. It's got 12-volt lighting, so inside I have a battery. The battery actually will power the lights inside. If I can get the door open, have a look inside. Hopefully no mice are in here. Well, good news, no bear is hibernating in here. But yeah, I haven't used it in a little while, but basically it's got some sleeping area up top. It's about 4 feet by 6 feet wide up top. This table here, this actually is, it can be removed. And then down on the right, I built it so that this bench, probably have to unlatch it, but that's a bench that folds up and fills this space and can make another bed. Underneath here, I actually have a microwave. It's not in here at the moment, but I have a microwave that goes right in that space. And depending where I am, if I have a generator that I can use, and it will basically provide power for that microwave. And yeah, as I mentioned, the 12-volt system. 12-volt system tends to get used for powering all these little 12-volt lights. These are off of Amazon. These are really good lights. I'll review at some point. But I got them all wired in here. Got switches, got a vent, got the window for up to the cab. It's got a sink here, drains outside. Full of junk right now, but yeah, basically I just made it to be a real simple, basic camper. You know, I find that keeping yourself out of a tent, depending on the season, is kind of nice. So, but yeah, I also notice, or you may notice, I got 120 or 110 volt wiring in here. Reason being is when the generator's hooked up, I actually run the 110 lights, including this one on the outside. And then when I turn off the generator, I can go back to the 12 volt light. So kind of a makeshift unit. It is solid. I've used it quite a bit. Just a ladder to get up on the roof. And you can see on this side here, I've got the drain that's coming out, place for the jacks that lift it up and down. And right here, I plug in the actual generator, and this will then provide power to the wiring inside. And if I had an external plug or a external need for power, I plug it right in there. That's really about it. Works like a charm. Up under the snow there on the roof, you probably can see, or maybe not, I've got a solar panel, and that's actually used to trickle charge the battery that's in there that runs a 12 volt system. So kind of a neat unit. I'll show you in more detail one day when I get it on the truck, but just haven't been using it recently. Coda's enjoying himself, as you can see. Come on, boy. But yeah, just walking around the outside of the meadow here. We got some big trees in here. Got some nice young trees coming through. That's what Coda does if he's not out hunting, right? But anyways, it's a quick tour of the meadow. I'm going to be circling back around here, making my way back up towards the place we started. Eventually you'll get a chance to see all the trails, but today that's really about it. Anyways, stay tuned for next time.